Chat. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We've got something new this week. Welcome to art. How are we doing? Welcome, welcome. So this week, and from this week onwards, Saturday is now officially Creativity Day. With the exception of Community Week, however, Community Night is also, well, Community Night is also a special occasion where we often play Gartic Phone anyway, so it still ends up being art quite a lot of the time. But hi, welcome to the stream. If there's anyone new here, it's me, Tundra. I am a, silly little VTuber, and I am an artist, and I absolutely love the Life Series. So we're combining all three of those things together today. As we move into da 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 da. That's the same once again. Da this. This is what we are doing today. We are doing some animating. Life series animating, to be more specific. Hello. How we doing? Now, I can't play the music for you on stream because of copyright, but I will run you through the frames that already exist. So, of course we have this frame to open it. We have a frame of Lizzie's base. A frame of Big B's hole. A frame of Trader Scars. This is all, by the way, just rough sketching, by the way. It'll improve in the future, of course. Then we've got some Clefo stuff. A Creeper. Mumbo Jumbo. And the Iron with some Gran. Alrighty, with here. Efo, yeah. We have the Don't Need Food. Don't Need Sleep. We got more Efo. With the beard. We got some Scar pressing down on the button to re-roll his task. We have Gran being the light of the server. Okay. We have Scar. If we're gonna win Past Life, maybe. If he's gonna win any season, it's gonna be Past Life. We got some Scar. His head being made of flowers and his body made of steel. Inability to think, hear, and feel. Now, what we've recently done is Monopoly Mountain, the Scottage, Pearl's Tower, and Coral Island, or the Coral Isles. Right? So that is what we have done so far of this. We are now getting into some watchery stuff. So, the line that we're currently drawing for is, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So, I think if my drawing tablet wants to function, what do we draw for this, chat? Just double check that. Okay, cool. Okay, chat, do we have any ideas for what we should draw for they say a picture's worth 1,000 words? It's gonna be something watchery. Like, we're gonna include something watchery here, naturally, because, yeah. The question is what? We're sort of bridging the gap between, like, the first couple sessions here. I don't know. How about... It could be, like, someone's, like, got like their task book, and then there's just like a picture in here instead of words. I don't know. Or we could also just draw some members. You could do a Polaroid being covered with worlds. So it's sort of like there's like the Polaroid like thing there. And then like planet or words, I can't read. And just like a bunch of words floating around it, like. And these could all be like previous like Life Series quotes even. Like that, something like that could be cool. And you know what? Maybe it is like worlds. Like, what we can have, like, what, the sun? Yeah, the celestial symbols. Or the Polaroid can have the Earth. This is Scar's Polaroid. So if that's there, and then we have like the sun and it's sort of like, yeah, sunny sort of things there, then I guess orbiting around the Polaroid there has to be the moon. Right? We've got to have Mars. What? So we've got like Mercury, Venus, Earth. So Mars would be sort of like over here. The stars could really be anywhere, so just sort of pop it there for, you know. So who have we got before Scar? We've got the sun, the stars, the moon, and Mars, and then Scar's 5. So if we really wanted, we could even take... Oh, drawing tablet's being funky. We could even take Martin and move him once my drawing tablet wants to function, my god. Control D. Control Z? Z. Chat, why is everything blue? Okay. Okay, we'll use my mouse for this. We could take Martin and move him sort of over here. And then even... to sort of... expand it a bit. To be about there. I love the Life Series. Okay, where's my water? Chat, what do we think of this sort of idea? So we got the Polaroid with Scar as the Earth on it. And then surrounding the Polaroid, which is in space, we've got the sun. I guess Scott's the stars, not the star, so I do need a sort of Just add at least another one. We've got the sun, the stars, the moon, and Mars over here. And the moon, I think, would actually, in the animation, orbit around... You know, be orbiting around this. Right? I think everything here would sort of be at an orbit, with the exception of the stars, I think, and the sun. So maybe, like, this would also, like, be slowly rotating around like that. You know? Because it's like orbiting around, like, you know, Pearl orbiting around Scar, but then Scar orbiting around Gran. And so is Martin and Pearl also orbiting around Gran as well. I think that works. And then obviously all the words everywhere as well. So that is the, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. How do we do the I disagree? Control Shift I. No, not Control Shift I. Control Shift N. I have the stupid. So they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Do we even just get rid of the words, or is that just the way to go with this? We get rid of the words, so it's sort of like they're all empty in space. What button is it? It's this one. 1 second. Or do, like, an eraser of rubbing them out. That would actually... Okay. So, for this, I will just sort of actually get rid of them in this image. But to animate that, they'll sort of slowly either be erased, or just each of them will individually sort of fade out. But just to get the point across, because these are obviously just like the key frames for each lyric. That'll be good, yeah. Chat, we're working on this together here. So these words are slowly gonna fade away. This is certainly an interesting idea. And if I can just get rid of this stuff. I think what we do now is that's more like that. Positioning. Right? Because it's orbiting, right? Everything's moved a bit by now. That's still moving. And the moon is more like there by now as well. Right? Like... This whole animation's gonna be sick for real. So you can sort of see some stuff is going to stay stationary, but a lot of it is going to move. 100%, 1000% fast. So yeah, this is true. I mean, objectively you are fast. You did claim the reward. That is how that works. Then I think Martin's still gonna be visible here, but like by this point has gone mostly off the screen. Leaving like a whole bunch of empty space. Because the next thing is going to be perfect for empty space. Right? As the next line is, I can't imagine anything. There we go. That frame sums up a lack of imagination. But then we've got because. Because what? Because, well, right? We've sort of got like Scar's eye here, right? So I can't imagine anything because right? Now. Can't. What do we do for the can't? Do we just like make it blink again? I think we actually do that. So can't. It blinks again. Okay. But see, right? I can't imagine anything because I can't see. How do we indicate that, seeing? Well, if I go back to my brush, I think it's going to be pretty obvious how we're indicating seeing in this sort of animation. Because how else would we indicate seeing? Other than through, well, something like this. right? So I'd have it be like I can't imagine anything, because you can start to see the eye has formed. The eye has opened. Can't, it blanks. And on C, it opens again now with the watch logo there. And there could obviously be like an eyebrow there or something. Or just... No, with my mouse it just always does it like that. Okay. Yeah, that's the cool thing about my drawing tablet, is like, I can push down really lightly. Or I can push down really hard. Like, that's just really, really nice as a function. Okay. We have half of the fast chorus animated, chat. So, I won't break the ice. I feel like there's got to be something with like, what, Grian or someone that has to do something like that. Oh, I guess it would have to be just any of the watches, right? Any of the Fast Four winners could break the ice to Scar about how things work. So I guess it's a factor of who's not going to get enough time. Grian's definitely going to get enough time in this. Pearl is going to have the entire, like, final fight. Scott? I don't know if Scott's going to get a lot. It's between Scott and Martin. Okay. Well. Heads, it's Scott. Tails, it's Martin. Alright, it's Martin. I think Grian would be the best because he's the one who let Scar know he won. That is true. But I feel like that's why in the end it should be Grian, because Grian does break the ice. So... So I think we draw Martin here. How do we draw Martin? Well, what is Martin's, A-R-T-Y-N, Martin's Secret Life skin. What does Martin look like? If I get rid of skin, we can just say... So, hair's just sort of showing up as normal. Yeah, I think we do just have Martin. Okay. Now I've got to figure out how I draw Martin, chat. Martin Minecraft skin. Just as a reference. Ah yes, thank you, the Evolution SMP Wiki, for having this image for me. Okay. Cool. I think it's got to be like looking down, sort of, I think. Like this sort of direction. Right? Like I'm thinking not like that. I don't know, like if I can draw a place? He could be sort of like there. Right? Now this gives room for his here to be about like there. And his headband to go like that. Like, you sort of see what we're going for, chat? Right, sort of like a... I don't know exactly how to draw this, but this is why we've got a rough sketch layer. Right? And then... I've got the vibe, yeah? And he's sort of got like his... like rolled up. I think we got it. Of course he's got that sort of swell to him. You know? It's getting there. Kind of difficult. I don't know how to sort of do his eyes as well, like... The eyes can be done better in the future. Or I guess I could actually just... get, I think, close and personal. Right? Something like that? Got his here. Okay. I think we got this. Okay. Fun fact, chat. Did you know that I have got my my drawing tablet is currently resting on a plastic rowlet to hold it up while I draw. Okay. And I think what we do though, what else is there to do? That's just not my... Right? So for though, what else is there to do? Right? You get the idea here, chat. Iconic. Come on, let me draw it. That was horrendous. Can't wait for one of the big dogs to see this. Okay. And then we've got... this. You gotta go, but you'll be back later? Okay, we'll see you soon. Enjoy whatever you've gotta go do. Bye-bye. Alright, chat. Then we've got the eye. Okay. Chat. We've got something. I don't know whatever it is that I'm actually drawing. But whatever this is, it seems to be working. That's way too high. Okay. Okay. There's going to be a big smile on that face. Okay. Let's zoom in time. Okay. Come on, we need to get this sorted. Okay. Okay. He seems pretty happy, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want from this. Okay. So, I won't break the ice, so what else is there to do? We got Martin really pondering here. Okay. Let's show some pupils in his eyes, shall we? Okay. Okay. The square hole. Da da down. Chat, what are we thinking so far? We're getting somewhere. Okay. Cause suffering. Okay. Now what do I do for cause suffering? Oh, I know what to do. Is it possible? But that's just gonna mean there's only 3, right? In fact, that's even weirder. No. Um... Uh... Okay, I guess I'll just have to do it like this. Okay. Okay, then we've got... Okay. Chat, I think we figured this out. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now... I think what we do is we start with Pearl, right? Because she's the fun one that I've been waiting to start my drawing of. So we're gonna draw her first. Right? So there's her little thing. Cool. Okay, we will be hydrating. Picking a water bottle now. Chat, what do we think of this so far? Let's actually zoom in. Draw her eyes. Yeah, do we draw Tilly? I think we draw Tilly. Okay. This is testing my abilities to draw animals, so. Right. And that's not actually too bad. Chat. That's actually not too bad. Now we need to draw the stars. I think. Do we draw Scott next? I guess we could. It would be ideal if we can get Scott looking in the opposite direction. Right? I think Scott's here goes all sort of crazy. Yeah. Welcome back. You really haven't actually missed too many frames. This is the frame we're currently working on, actually. I'm sure you can tell what's going on this frame. And, you know, who's in it. Where's my button? Yeah. Okay. How is that looking? That's actually not looking too bad. Okay. I think we've got something here. Scott had his jacket on, right? I can't remember if Scott had his jacket on. Scott Last Life Finale. Ah, he did, yeah. Because it went like that. If I can draw at all. And then he had the stripe for being red. Cool. 1 second, chat. Alright, chat. I think Scott's eyes could use a little bit of improvement, but like, this again is just a rough sketch. Chat, do we have them reliving their deaths? Would that be interesting? Yes, make them suffer. I mean, this line is literally about them suffering. I'm drawing pearls as an explosion because it's close enough. Okay. Poor old Martin's not gonna have a lot of room. How did Martin die? Also, Grahan's is full damage. How am I supposed to... Grahan just like jumped off the cliff. Like, Scott got struck by lightning. Pearl, I'm counting as being exploded, because that's how Scott died, and that's what killed her. Martin ran out of time. Grahan took full damage. Um. Hmm. Who do I draw next, chat? Gran or Martin? Martin could have an hourglass shatter. I don't know for Gran. Yeah. Is it gonna be the thing? I'm gonna say what, but I am fully expecting it to be the thing. I don't know. Okay, sure. Now. I guess we could just do Martin next. Martin. No, let me search, please. I want his limited life. How does Cherry draw Martin? Got the coral around the forehead. Okay. Okay. Let's just get to drawing Martin, I guess. I think for Martin, what we could actually do, right? Once, like, yeah, we get him in here. He's got his hair. It's a bit wet because, you know, he's got like the coral on his, like, hair, whatever. His eyes are like that, of course. He's got his jacket. On. What was underneath his jacket? Control Shift T. Just a white shirt. Okay, yeah. Sure. Which means he does have a collar. Martin is out of time. And then we've got to do green. Now, I think green did just have his normal skin on, but do we just draw him as desert green anyway? I think we just draw him as desert green anyway. But we're doing green a little differently, you see. Right? This is sort of gonna reference like the thumbnail for his wildlife movie. You see, unlike the others, Brienne's used to this. Not only has it been a long time since wildlife, but also he set these games up in the first place. That's not to say he isn't gonna have something. Nah, okay. Never mind, he actually just won't have anything. Okay. Chat, we're good? Okay, yeah, I don't know what I was cooking with that. Castles on the end of it, because he's not well. Okay. Now, we're even going to go a step into this. Brienne is fully aware that he's the sun. And his watcher symbol is going to also be fully intentional. Right there. And instead of reliving his death, Graham's suffering is actually just running the games. Graham has to deal with that. Maybe a fate worse than death. Okay. So. Chat. This is our winners lineup. With suffering and silence. Is better than suffering with you. And who's you? Well, of course. Looks red, hell yeah. So, because suffering and silence is better than suffering. Ugh. They did not do that. Incredible circle by me. Okay. But here's the thing. They don't all need to be here. What does need to be here is the cause of death. With the exception of Grian, who's going to completely stick around. Okay. I'm sorry, pal, but you've gotta go, and that also includes you, Tilly. I'm sorry, Tilly. But it had to be done. Now is the time to draw the hourglass. Right? Right. And a bunch of sand pouring out of it. Cool. And of course there'll still be some sand left in here naturally, but like, you know. A lot of it has completely poured out. Because suffering in silence is better than suffering with you. I think the sand pouring out could be more flowy down in this direction to account for where Martin was as well. Okay. Chat, we've done the entire first chorus. We did it, chat. Yippee. Now, what we need to do is we need to get back to drawing people's bases. We've got a decent amount of frames here, chat. And this is just like, you know, the rough sketch of it. Actually, hold up. If I... Just for you specifically, Jay, if you go into our Discord DMs, I'm sending you, what it looked like before today's stream. Just so you sort of have that reference. As we can now start working on instrumental to the first frame of it. Oh, sorry, it's actually, IB1. Okay. Chat. Things are starting to happen. Now, one thing I have wanted to do for this is have Jim and the Scots actually just play a part of this. Like them just animated playing the music. I don't know if that's going to be something I can do. I love when things happen. When what thing happens, Jay? Yes, that'll be great. Yeah, okay. So I think... So what? We've got Impulse on the drums. Scott on the... Scott's Major on the vocals. And... what was Jim doing? Was Jim on the guitar? Is that how it was? Was it... Scott Impulse drum, Scott's Major sing, and Jim on the vocal... on the guitar? Or was Jim singing? Hold up, I've gotta have a look now. Jim and the Scots. Jim sings, Scott is on the guitar. Okay. This will certainly be interesting. So they've got their stage. We're gonna have Jim all happy and things. The great thing about this is that Jim's not gonna actually be singing. So I don't need to animate like Jim's mouth. So if Jim is going that way, she might be pointing like over there somewhere, maybe? How do you point? Hold up. Chat. That's a thumb. Your thumb will also point that way. Chat, I have to like point myself to figure this out. So, if her pointer finger's like that, her thumb will also point that way. And then the rest of her fingers will sort of do that. Her gem here will sort of be like that. And it'll curl a lot over like here, sort of. Chat, thoughts? If maybe there's a microphone there, so she's got her grip on that, sort of like that. Doesn't look like she's got a grip on the microphone, but you get the idea. In fact, actually, it looks like she's got her hand sort of resting facing downwards, and I actually quite like that. I just think what that means is her mic should be on a stand in front of her. Right? And that's sort of gonna be a bit behind, because obviously she's bopping along to it, right? And then because she's Jim, she's gonna be having a very bright smile. She's gonna be enjoying this tons, because she is the lead singer of Jim and the Scots. And then obviously the microphone has to cut off at some point. So somewhere like there. With a wire going down there. I'd like to imagine that they've also got some like cherry blossom petals. Like along, yeah, on the wire. And then obviously Jim's foot. I can do a better arrow than that. That's a lot better. And then maybe like her hair would obviously like... But then from there... Go like that as well. It's like... Bouncing quite a bit. I think her finger does need to be... Sort of like that. Okay, chat. I think we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere indeed. Now. Cool. She has her shoes on. I can't actually remember what her shoes look like in the series, but I'm sure they look like something. You know? Okay. Okay. Something like that as well, just nice and cozy. If I can draw, please. There we go. Okay. Now. Cool. I think we've spent enough time on Gem, to be fair. We've got the point across now, I think. That is Gem. She's vibing out. She's partying. We've also got to have Scott and Scott as well. How are we going to add the Scots, chat? Impulse and Scott need to be recognized. Right, well. How have I drawn Scott here? Yeah, well, that's a completely different Scott though, isn't it, actually? What about when he's dead? No, he's just not there that time. Okay. We'll find a way, chat. We will find a way. We could start with drawing the drum kit, actually. I think... Impulse is gonna have the drum kit like that. Right. And then we've got... Okay. Not too bad. Then of course... we draw the hi-hat. I am just sort of rushing this, but that's fine. At least the drum kit. We just want to get to the proper stuff that needs drawing, right? That's where impulse is going to be set. Just behind this, right? That's the set. That's the snare drum. Right. The toms are gonna be annoying to draw. Maybe not. Okay. And just so it's like in frame. Crash symbol there. Okay. That's where I'm gonna have to draw impulse. Just trying to get everyone in is the thing. Trying to just fit people into frame. Now chat, do we put Scott on the guitar tucked away over there, or do we push him in front of Jim over here? So we could go there, or we could go there. Which one do we think? Over by Jim? Yeah, I think this is probably the best spot for him. So he's like off towards the front of the stage. Scott's here is going to be going sort of like insane again. Now, because he's a past winner, he's going to be drawn with some features of his previous winnership in this. Because I can. I love the idea that the reason they have these lightning bolts on their faces is because Scott had it naturally from his incident at the end of Last Life, and then Impulse was like, whoa, that's a great idea, we should copy that. And have it be a part of our band. His eyes. He's gonna be having a grand old time. How do I draw the guitar? I guess if I draw the guitar first. Just get the general shape of it. Right? In fact, no, let's make these very inefficient and very cool. Like the lightning bolts there. So, we've got a guitar. Right? That goes meow 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 when he strums it. Okay. Now he's gonna have his arm sort of like that. His other sort of just holding the pick. Just sort of bashing away at that. He's gonna be using a pick because that'll be a little easier to animate. Chat, this isn't too bad actually. It gets the point across that, you know, it's Scott and he's on the guitar. I think the arm on that side is a little funky. But if we get past that, like... Once again, I don't know what shoes anyone's wearing, so I'm just drawing very basic. Sure, I guess he's got heels now, because that's just accidentally how I've drawn him. Also, that leg is very wide. Okay. I hope that conveys the idea. There we go. That's like perfect. There we go. And they've got the sleeves. Cool. Chat. We're getting somewhere. Okay. Scott is definitely gonna be the difficult one to animate here. Not Scott, other Scott. Impulse Scott, not Scott's major. Okay. Now. It's getting somewhere, chat. I do like where this is going. I do think we're getting, like, the general idea of this. Chat, what do we think of each frame we've done so far today? Where have we started? We've got, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I disagree. I can't imagine anything because I can't see. I won't break the ice, though what else is there to do? Because suffering in silence is better than suffering with you. And then some instrumentals. What are our thoughts on, like, what's everyone's favourite one that we've done so far today? This one, like, I started with this one and I thought, oh yeah, that's an absolute banger. But then, what was it, this one? This one I quite liked. And then immediately following it, this one was really cool. And now we've got Jim and the Scots jamming it out. I think this is probably my favourite just because of the Pearl bit. This specific area right here is my favourite section of any of them. And I love how Grian's just not phased. The winner's reliving their deaths plus Grian, who's just like graining, I guess. I don't know. And then obviously as they all disappear and yeah. This is just a fun project that I've been working on and like, you know, I think this is probably going to be the hardest part of the entire thing to animate. Literally just this. But to be fair, it's probably just going to be the one scene for the entire instrumental. I might like zoom into different parts of them, but like, yeah, the main idea of like, yeah, it's, you know, it's Jim and the Scots jamming it out. But obviously I have to now draw Impulse on the drums, which I've obviously been procrastinating. It probably won't even be that hard, like, what? I have to what? Draw an Impulse. Right. Draw him being on the drums. With some 6 in hand. Reaching out. And hitting like different parts of the drum. It's a rough sketch as well, like it doesn't have to be anything too professional. And then like his other foot just like coming down here and resting just at the bottom here. Like just, you know? It's not too difficult to draw. Like, that's good enough. And of course we got the little watching Scott. Then Jim. And Impulse, who I'm trying to draw having a good time, but it's hard to draw. Sometimes from certain angles. There we go. Now we're pretty much up to my favorite part. However, before we do get to my favorite part, we'll start setting up for it. So, I jumped down with a parachute. Right? The whole idea of this bit is we're gonna have Joel full screen and experiencing the thrill, having a great time. Just Joel Beansing. Right? Here, like, going everywhere in the with the wind, you know, like it's a mess. We've got like a water bucket, you know. Like, in hand, it's ready. Except it's not gonna be there, obviously. I need to draw that better. So he's gonna be like that. With his hand here. In his hand, he's going to have a tight grasp, of course. Wouldn't want to drop it or anything. Because he can't afford to fail this. He's gonna have a tight grasp. On that water bucket. Same over here, like his thumb's gonna be wrapping around it like that. And the rest of his fingers are gonna also be doing their part. It's gonna be upside down just for viewers' sake, really. There's gonna be water ready to spill out of there at any moment. And then he's gonna go splat. Right? We have an idea of what happens here. He's gonna have his eyes wide open. Right? And behind him, of course, there's the really tall pillar that he's jumping off of. Made of a bunch of cobblestone. You know, it's like all cracked and stuff. But all cobbly. And he's just ready to go splat. Chat, I do need to quickly just go sort something for just 5 minutes. So I will be back in just 5 minutes and we'll continue with the rest of the art. Although, yeah, we should actually scratch that. We've got like a couple minutes anyway. I think it can wait just a minute as we finish up anyway, because we are like looking at the time. I do actually need to be wrapping up very shortly. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna run through the whole thing. With me going through before we end today. So we have suffering. This is the animatic. So the frames we've done so far is this. Lizzie's base. Big B's base. Scar's base. We've got some Clefo action going on. We've got a creeper. We've got Mumbo throwing some iron. We've got not needing food to heal anymore. Not needing sleep when Etho is offering many beds. Scar re-rolling his task for a hard one after failing his first task. Grian is the light of the server and everyone is just playing along. Scar's head is made of flowers and his body of steel. He can't think, can't hear or feel. Bomb, Monopoly Mountain. Bomb, the Scottish. Bomb, Pell Tower. Bomb, the Coral Isles. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. We've got all the words floating around the Polaroid in space with all of the celestial signs of the previous winners. But I disagree. The words are disappearing and everything's sort of floating off screen. I can't imagine anything. Now everything's completely floated off screen and it's empty because I can't see. I won't break the ice with Martin, but what else is there to do? We've got, you know, Scar looks so happy, so, you know, we wouldn't want to ruin that. Because suffering in silence is better than suffering with you. Everyone's dead, they're suffering the same deaths over and over. And then Jim and the Scots playing their band music. And now, Joel, you know, bless Joel, is now jumping out with a parachute. And I'm sure that, you know, nothing could go wrong with this whatsoever. Thank you, chat, for everyone who came down to watch today's art stream. This was suddenly a new experience, doing a stream like this. But it is weekly. We will be doing art like this every week on a Saturday. So follow me if you haven't already, if this is the sort of content you are interested in. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. So, you know, bye-bye now.